about death. A subject that most people don't want to think about. But the inevitable hard truth that comes with being born into this living, breathing organism is that you and I are most definitely going to die. I know, right? The kitchen. Your sweet little hunger fulfillment zone is teeming with terror and the possibility of death lurks everywhere. The kitchen is a place where almost anything could kill you. Think that pineapple's innocent? Uh-oh, now your throat's slit. Toasters? Whoops, you're electrocuted. Outlets could betray you. Silverware can stab. And don't put your towels too close to the gas stove. But seriously, death in the kitchen is something that happens all too frequently. It can be just a clumsy accident or, drinking too much of your favorite vegetable juice. That's right. In 1974, a man named Basil Brown died at the age of 48 because he drank himself to death by consuming too much carrot juice. In 10 days, he had had 10 gallons to drink. Yikes. That amount led to a vitamin A overdose, and he's done. They do say, go out doing something you love. And boy, he must have loved carrot juice. Hide and seek is a fun game, unless you find a deadly hiding spot. Back in the day, death by playing in abandoned refrigerators were so common among children that on August 2nd, 1956, a Refrigerator Safety Act was passed. People were encouraged to remove the doors and locks on their unused fridges and educate their children about the dangers. This didn't seem to be enough, though, because children were still dying, so an act was passed in 1958 to switch to doors that sealed magnetically. Well, that sure gave me the chills. Dishwashers. While this is a rare way to go, it's a very plausible concept because a simple lack of foresight can mean your death is very near. In Lancashire, a 31-year-old woman reportedly slipped and fell onto her open dishwasher right onto some knives that were pointing upwards. That's why I hand wash. So as you've seen today, the kitchen is a very dangerous place, and I hope that I've helped you become more cautious of that. Just remember, limit your carrot juice intake. Don't play hide and seek in refrigerators. And please remember to point your knives downward in the dishwasher. But remember, we're all gonna die. Selfies, those seemingly harmless photographs that people take of themselves any place, anytime, anywhere. But what isn't on the mind of the modern narcissist is that their ultimate beauty tool is dangerously distracting, even life-threatening. Creating even the most basic of selfies takes time and focus, two words that we typically don't associate with speedy social media platforms like Instagram or Snapchat, because it's marketed to be so in the moment that many people try multitasking too hard that they get tragically distracted from their own safety. Take traveling, for example. Ever since cameras were invented, we've been documenting everything that we see. You see a cool landmark and you gotta get a picture with it and then brag about it to all your friends. Even if you aren't trying to brag about it, it's helpful to our memory to photograph important things. When visiting the world-famous geyser field in northern Chile, El Tachio, a 68-year-old woman walked over to one of the geysers with plumes that can reach up to 15 feet. She turned her back to it to take a selfie, but unbeknownst to the merciless strength of the geyser, she slipped on the surrounding crumbling surface and suffered 85% burns to her body after falling in. She was quickly pulled out by her husband, but later passed away in the hospital. Earlier that same year, in 2015, various hikers were exploring the mountain range in Powys, mid-Wales, when a lightning storm hit, leaving 2 dead and 2 injured. Later, it was discovered that one of the men that didn't survive was carrying a metal selfie stick, leading authorities to believe that it may have attracted the strike. In addition to hot geysers and strikes of lightning, taking selfies in nature have resulted in deadly cliff dives, falls off bridges, and surprisingly strong and fatal currents, just to name a few. Damn, nature, you're dark. Speaking of nature, animals also can't be trusted when practicing your selfie game. Walruses are incredible and powerful marine mammals, which is exactly why you should be careful when getting too close. In 2016, a Chinese businessman was visiting a local wildlife park in Rongcheng City in northeast China. He was reportedly very excited to see a walrus and began taking selfies and videos when he finally saw one. But then, the 1.5-ton animal grabbed him from behind and dragged him into the pool, tragically to his death. A zookeeper even attempted to save the man, but the zookeeper also drowned. There have been several reported deaths and injuries regarding selfieing around animals, including a man who was gored by a bull in Spain's famous Running with the Bulls. Animals. Not always so cute. Neither is selfieing while you're driving, or around any transportation for that matter. In IAŞI, Romania, a teenage girl and her friend attempted to take some extreme selfies while laying on top of a train. When one of the girls lifted her foot into the air, she touched a live wire that sent 27,000 electrical volts through her body, catching her on fire and sending her to the hospital, where she died from her extreme burns. Other transportation selfie deaths involve many different instances, but some of what you'd expect: posting a selfie while driving and resulting in a head-on collision, or stepping out of your car to photograph the scenery, only to be crashed into by oncoming traffic. Yikes. It's a common misconception that humans can multitask, but really we're just switching between two different tasks really quickly, and we don't even notice a gap. So if you're going to take a selfie of that sweet, beautiful face of yours, just take a look around you and think twice. But remember,
we're all gonna die.
Oh, hi, welcome to my bathroom. Want to talk about death? Bathrooms. Personally, I'm a little conflicted about how I feel about them. Because on one hand, I'm very glad that they exist, because I would be a disgusting mess without them. But on the other hand,
Holy are they terrifying.
Slippery floors, drains that invite the creepiest crawlers, pipes that could malfunction at any moment, scalding hot water, and of course, germs.
not only are you prone to slips, falls, and accidents in the bathroom, but you're also at your most vulnerable. In one naked slip, you could suddenly die, leaving your body to smell up your entire apartment complex, until one of your neighbors comes in to, find your corpse with your pants down. A devastating thought, but something that could even happen to the king. But before we really dive into the terrifying nature of the bathroom, let's talk some history.
While the early stages of plumbing can be dated back to around 2800 BC, the connection between waste and health had not been entirely distinguished with elaborate sewer systems until the mid-1800s. These Victorian bathrooms could be extremely dangerous due to flammable gases like methane and hydrogen sulfate emanating from the human waste building up in the sewers. There were reports of bathrooms exploding after being ignited by something like a cigarette or a candle down the can.
Just kidding. It's great to live in the modern age. Or is it?
Technology might be better, but danger is still there. Death from accidentally drowning in bathtubs has gone up 70% in 10 years. People's habit of long, deep soaks and hot baths frequently cause people to lose consciousness and accidentally drown. Or also, how about those slippery toilet seats? Be careful the seat isn't broken, because a 48-year-old woman in 1986 once died from a head injury after slipping off a broken seat. Or are you short with a penis? Beware, because in 1956, a short Frenchman, Jacques Soulet, I don't speak French, so that pronunciation is purely a guess, died from complications of a genital injury from a toilet lid falling down on him while urinating.
So the bathroom, as it is, pretty terrifying, but what if your body betrays itself?
In May 2002, a man bled to death from the cuts he received after falling on shattered porcelain from a toilet bowl that collapsed under his weight. So remember to watch your weight, but also watch your blood pressure. Some instances of toilet-related deaths happen when your blood pressure drops due to the parasympathetic nervous system during bowel movements. It's also possible to have cardiovascular complications from straining too hard when passing a stool. This is said to have happened to King George II.
Being isolated in the bathroom is one thing, but what if you're not alone?
Anyone familiar with the story of Norman Bates and Alfred Hitchcock's Psycho is probably scared of murder in the bathroom. And while Mother might not be after you, the vulnerable nature of the bathroom just entices the possibility of murder. Dating all the way back to 1016, Edmund II, also known as Edmund Ironside, was stabbed in the butt by a Viking from under a privy seat while defecating. Or maybe you're not being murdered in your bathroom, but a burglar attempts to rob your home. An event like this happened in 1992 in Los Angeles, and the burglar died after slipping on the floor and falling headfirst into the toilet. So maybe it's not so bad to have a slippery bathroom floor after all, but still watch out for murderers.
Hey, I hope you learned a helpful thing or two to keep you alive a little bit longer. Like this video and leave me a comment down below about what your most feared thing in the bathroom is. Subscribe to Snarled and check out our other videos. And hopefully I'll see you next week. But remember, we're all gonna die. Bye!